All right. Well, thanks for tuning in to Love Out Loud. It's Alexis.
And Tim,
Thanks for tuning in, guys. So, Valentine's Day is approaching.
it is approaching and so fast.
Yes. I feel like a lot of people have love on the brain, maybe stressing about it,
Yeah.
stressing about planning,
hmm
and then maybe also embracing it, feeling all the feels.
Yeah, definitely. I think sometimes that stress can, pressure makes diamonds. So sometimes that stress can result in some of the best Valentine's days or experiences or gifts. And
That's true.
yeah,
There
it
might
is
be a
true.
lot of lucky individuals, happy individuals this Valentine's Day.
Right. Including the singles out there. Including the
Yes,
singles.
yes, that too. All right. Well, on the topic of love, I've been thinking a lot about love,
Okay.
and I feel like you're very much an open book, babe, when we talk about love and previous love with other partners and even
Mm,
love within our own relationship.
true.
Yeah, and I was having a thought. I feel like when it comes to the idea of love and previous love, like I said, we've had so many conversations about just truths and hard truths or hardships that we've been through in the past. And the topic of just, I don't know, loving again
Mm-hmm.
recently surfaced. And I had the realization that I didn't, or I don't think I've ever heard you speak about learning to love again. And if you ever went
Mm.
through a process of learning to love again after heartbreak.
Mm.
So I was wondering, have you?
Have I loved again since heartbreak? No, no, I've never ever loved. Just kidding. It's just like
Okay.
as we're sitting here, just like, wait, what? Like,
Right.
what do you mean you've never loved again? We're gonna, but
Right.
yes, of course I have. I've very much so, and currently I'm in so deep of a love, so deep of a very pure and I would say childlike, raw version of love, which I'm
Mm.
very happy to be experiencing. But your question is basically, how did I learn to relove?
One, I guess it's a two-part question. One, did you ever find that you had a hard time learning to love again? Or,
Mm,
yeah, was it ever a struggle after experiencing heartbreak
right,
to quote unquote love again?
right,
And if so, how was that experience for you,
right,
learning to love again?
right. Yeah, so I would say that it was I would like in my mind, the way that I kind of approached it after heartbreak was almost in the sense of like there will be no love again, you
Yeah.
know?
Oh,
Yeah.
somebody hurt you bad. No, just kidding.
Right, like I don't know, like they say love don't live here no more. Like yes, like
Oh.
it's gone out for milk and it just never came back, like
Oh
vacancy.
no.
Yes, that was kind of my mindset. So, yeah, sure, definitely I would say there was heartbreak, but my mindset, especially with it being the first experience of love, so
Yeah.
I'm not sure how other people's love stories go and their development through love and stuff, but I can imagine that maybe if you've loved one person and then for whatever reason things ended amicably and then you moved on and you loved another person and then things were okay and then you loved another person and then your heart was broken. I don't know, maybe that would feel like, okay, I know there's more love for me out there versus the very first person
Yeah.
that you feel truly like you are. I love this person. And then that being your very first heartbreak is a different experience, in my opinion. Is tough. So I remember for me, it was reality shattering, is what I describe it as, like truly reality shattering, as in like you're questioning the entire world, you're questioning everything around you, you're questioning everyone around you, like what
Yeah.
is real and what is not, like touching things like, is this a simulation or is this real? And
Yeah.
so because of that, I think my mindset was very like if you can't trust the person that you trusted so much, the one person you trusted with everything in the world, of course there's not going to be anyone else that you could possibly trust, you know?
Mm,
Or at least that's how I viewed it. So for me, love wasn't really like a question. Like that wasn't in the discussion anymore for me. Yeah. And so when it came to trying to learn to love again, there was never that, because there was no intention to aspire for love again, you know?
gotcha. So do you feel like when it did come around again that it just kind of fell into your lap?
Right, right.
Yeah.
I do feel like it was kind of like it fell into my lap. Like it felt like one of those things where it was just like I was not looking for this. I was not trying to go for this. Like I'm being very closed off. Like I don't have the intentions of getting too deep or personal with anyone or opening up, and it kind of just like caught you off guard, almost like they say like Cupid shot an arrow. Like he just like just got hit. You got someone just spun the block on you.
Oh
Just a
my
drive
gosh.
by, like you was not expecting it. You chilling, minding your business.
Why am I picturing a bunch of cupids riding around in like a Chevy and
Right.
somebody out the back with a bow and arrow,
Like
like
bop, bop, brip, bip, pew, pew, pew.
a
Oh
bunch
my
of
god.
hearts flying. That's so cute. That needs to be a cartoon.
Nah,
Anyway.
facts. That would be a really funny like cartoon show on Netflix or animated series. Just
Yes.
Cupid the gangster.
Oh
Yeah,
my goodness.
right.
I can see it.
Literally. So what about you though? What about you? Do you feel like you had to learn to love again in any aspects, and how so?
Yes. Definitely. I like you. I wouldn't say love don't live here anymore, but I definitely felt closed off to the idea of love. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know. I feel like after my first heartbreak that afterwards it just seemed like a hurt or experience that I didn't want to feel again. It was
Mhm.
almost like a switch inside of me shut off,
Right.
and I was very adamant about not going down that road.
Mhm.
And it was a long time, I would say, maybe years before I felt myself internally being willing and accepting and open to love coming to me, not seeking it, like you said, not actively seeking it or going out and looking for it, but it feeling like it came to me, but at a time when I allowed it to.
Right.
So I feel like I very much was just strong and I don't know, headstrong about not allowing certain things to even allow me to go there, really. Like
Mhm.
when I feel like love tried to present itself to me, but I wouldn't allow it to because I
Right.
wasn't there. I wasn't ready.
Right.
Yeah. And honestly, which made me want to ask you, I feel like the process of liking someone or even loving someone and getting to that again can be scary.
Right.
Like, I do remember liking someone for the first time after
Mm.
experiencing heartbreak, and it was scary.
Yeah.
Yes, genuinely scary.
Yeah.
I remember saying the words "I like you" was
Yeah.
like it when they say the cat got your tongue, or like
Yeah.
it felt literally like someone was holding my tongue and I could not get those simple words out. I like you.
Wow.
I could not get it out. It was very
Wow.
tough.
And that was face to face?
Yeah. So as
Wow.
silly as it may sound or as childish as it may sound, it was something about it that was very, very scary.
Mhm.
Yeah. And so that's like
Right.
so
Right.
love, which was you, babe, experiencing
Mhm.
love again and sharing that openly, that was a struggle as well. And I
Yeah.
remember early on us having those conversations about
Mhm.
love and me opening up and being able to tell you that I loved you was very scary for me.
Yeah.
It was hard, and it was definitely that toughness or that hardship was definitely rooted in fear.
Right.
Just feeling like saying those words "I love you" or having someone know that you love them sets a whole different level of commitment or
Mhm.
tie, or I don't know. You become
Yeah.
vulnerable in a whole different way. It's
Absolutely.
like When they say giving your heart to someone, like
Right.
me placing that in your hands at this point, it's kind of like, how are you going to treat my heart?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that is kind of crazy to think about it. And it's just three words like I love you. And just saying those three words feels like it can change so much, like in an instant. And it's funny because we literally make such a big deal about it in, like, I don't know, movies, TV shows, friends, gossip.
Right.
Like, he said I love you, or who said I love you first? You know, it's crazy because it's just three words. It makes me really wonder though, with you and you saying like there was this fear, would you say that fear came from like more so acknowledging and knowing like, oh, like I think I like, well, let's go with the like situation. I like this person, like I like you acknowledging it, or do you feel like that fear is more just saying the words to the person, you know?
Hmm.
So almost like, I guess a better way to put it is like, did were you how did I guess was more of that fear and those feelings like when you realize like, oh, I like this person, or is it more so just like the fear of telling them I like this person, you know, like,
Yeah.
or did those, like, because I imagine those two things didn't happen at the same time. It's not like, oh, I like you and now I'm telling you, you know.
Yeah.
I'm sure at some point before you realize, or would you say that you realized before, like, I like this
Yeah.
person, I love this person, and now you're verbalizing it?
Yeah. I feel like when I feel like it's both. I feel like there's fear rooted in both of those. So the first one is that just when you realize that you like someone
Mm-hmm.
now, well, let me say this. I feel like ultimately, I feel like the fear comes from the idea that in loving someone, that person can also hurt you.
Right.
There's hurt on the opposite side of it. That's ultimately where the fear lies. So
Right.
I feel like acknowledging or realizing that you have feelings for someone, that part is scary. And just that, oh snap, now that I know that I'm starting to have feelings, that I love this person, that I like this person, that person can also cause me pain. They can
Yeah.
hurt me at the same time. And so there's that part. But I think the telling someone that you like them or you love them, it
Mm-hmm.
just puts a staple on it. It's
Mm-hmm.
put it out there in the universe. It's put it out there in the world, almost like you can't go back from that. Kind of,
Right.
if you say something out loud, just like, oh man, it's out there now. There's no
Mm-hmm.
taking it back. You can't be like, oh no, I was just joking. I
Right.
didn't mean that. No, you said it.
Right.
So I think it's that. It's kind of, it makes it official once you've actually put it out there. And then I think also at that, in the same breath, you now have given that person a little bit of power in
Right.
knowing, and
Mm-hmm.
kind of how are you going to use that? What are you going to
Mm-hmm.
do with that now that I've put that out there?
Mm-hmm.
How will you reciprocate it? Will you reciprocate it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's very true. Those are all good points. It makes me want to ask you this other question.
Uh-oh.
Um,
The laugh with it.
well, it's a laugh because I feel like I don't know that there's a right or wrong answer, and I feel like this could lead to like a long debate because I remember having this debate with Dwayne,
Mhm.
one of my best friends. So yeah, I want to know, because you said like once you put it out there, it's like it's done. You can't take that back. Do you think that you can unlove someone, or do you feel like once you love someone, and I guess it's irrespective. It doesn't matter if it's said or not. But like, let's say I love you. Do you think there's a the ability to not love that person anymore, or do you feel like it's always there?
I I'm curious to know what the debate was in the past. I'm
Well,
very curious.
right. I'll explain a little bit. The debate, in the sense, was because of. Actually, no. I'll explain it. Dwayne's perspective after you share what your thoughts are on it, a little bit at least.
Okay. Well, I feel like if it's true love,
Right.
right, if it's
Right.
true love, then my flat out answer is no. I don't think that it goes away. I
Mm-hmm.
think that it may be present or show itself or exist in different ways or different levels. I think that
Mm-hmm.
if you love someone or you reach that point, there's a level of care or yeah, a level of care that you have towards that person, whether you're in love or things
Mm-hmm.
of that nature, that may fluctuate, but just
Right.
having love for someone, it's like I care for you, I want your well-being. I feel like that will exist regardless. Yeah,
Gotcha.
unless somebody just does you dirty, like
Mm-hmm.
just I don't know, flat out dirty to where it just completely flips the script of I
Mm-hmm.
don't love you, maybe I despise you now. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I feel like that's something if someone can experience that level of hurt, I feel like it can flip the narrative. But sometimes
Right.
I feel like even when that is the case, that someone can be hurt by said person that they once loved, that you still may have some level of love for them.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can see that. Well, yeah, I feel like that's exactly the same perspective that Dwayne had. We were talking about, and I agree. Basically, the contingency is that we're talking about like true love here, not like, oh, I kind of like you, I love you, like high school. Yeah,
Infatuation.
not
Yeah.
that. We're talking about true love. And I think a big key part of when we were talking about it was unconditional love. Like, if you have true unconditional love for someone, does that ever go away? And I was just like, thinking like, well, yeah, you could not love someone you like. I like you and I don't like you no more. I love you and like I don't mess with you no more. But
Hmm.
I think a good point of what Dwayne was saying, which is similar to what you're saying, is if it's unconditional, like, a true unconditional love means that if me and you were to break up right now, like, if I stop loving you now that we're broken up, that's a condition. Like, the
Hmm.
condition was
It's been
right,
together.
and
Right.
so if it's true unconditional love, that almost kind of in and of itself means that it's a always thing, like it's a persistent always on thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess
Well, what are your thoughts now? What's your opinion?
I think I don't know how that debate ended, but I think I agree now as well. I agree now as well. And I think it's because, especially after being so much more mature and having so much more to my story of love, like, and learning a lot of things, I think now I would agree that true unconditional love is something that is persistent. Once it's turned on, it can't be like turned off.
Yeah.
I do feel like there are very different definitions when you talk about being in love versus have like just loving someone or something. But yeah, I feel like love is something that's persistent. Even if someone was to take a gun and just put a bullet in your mom's forehead, like boom,
I don't
still.
know about that.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Mm,
saying.
no, just kidding.
Well,
No,
you
I'm
gonna
not kidding. I don't know. I don't know. That's taking it to the extreme.
well, sometimes you gotta take it there to really be able to.
I don't love you that much.
Right.
No, I don't know. That's crazy love. But I don't know. I feel like, yes, I mean, you hear stories of people going through the worst of the worst in their loving relationships
Mm-hmm.
and dealing with it, and the excuse being, I, lo- I love them. Like,
Mm-hmm.
or not the excuse, but the reason for still having anything to do with said person is because they quote unquote love them.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a beautiful thing and it's a scary thing. I think all together, love just
Yeah.
makes you very vulnerable in ways that nothing else can.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think that makes a lot more sense when you talk about that fear of like, oh, I love this person now, or even when you talk about but like if you're like, I love this person now, or saying I love you to someone, not only are you putting it out there to them, but you're making it even more real to yourself when you say it out loud. And maybe in all of our hearts and minds, subconsciously, we all know that once like I love someone, like this switch is kind of like it's flipped and it's stuck. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, it's up and it's stuck. So maybe that's part of that fear. It's just like, whoa, 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 I just met this person and we just like, I don't know their deepest, darkest. Go ahead.
No, that I feel like you saying that I just met this person.
Mm-hmm.
That's something too that I feel like a lot of people don't always talk about. Is there a time frame of when you love someone versus oh you just like them,
Right.
like people that go on vacation and they meet somebody on a cruise
Yeah.
and they've been on that cruise for 3 days and they're just like oh my gosh I found the love of my life.
Yeah.
Who's to say that they didn't find the love of their life, that they're not falling in love, that they're Like you hear
Mhm.
some people say, no, that's too early. What
Mhm.
do so I'm gonna pose a question to you. Do you feel like there is a time frame of when it makes it official or not that
Mhm.
there's a possibility that you are actually in love with someone?
I was gonna say no, but I feel like yes, it's not an absolute time frame. I feel like it's more relative. So I don't think there's any amount of time where it's just like, all right, you've passed the threshold, you can be in love now. Um, because I just feel like that doesn't exist, and everyone is going to experience the feelings of getting to know someone faster or slower in their own way. Like I could get to know someone a lot in one day if we spend all day together versus someone else could get to know someone over 3 months and they only talk to them for 10 minutes a day. But I would say that time frame, there is a time frame, but it's not a absolute time frame. It's relative, and the time frame is when you can basically almost not even concretely but subconsciously you have a general like wanting of well-being and goodness and happiness and joy for that person, and I feel like you can't know that without having enough time to kind of realize it, almost like, because I guess when I envision love, I feel like love is almost this like this true desire for general well-being and happiness for something or someone. It's
Mm-hmm.
like regardless of if you're in my life or if you've done wrong or if you screwed the world over or whatever, I just want the best for you. You could be at the worst now, I want the best. You could be at the best now, I still want the best. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, and so I feel like you can't know that until you kind of you go through a little bit amount of time. You realize, well, yeah, I care about this person. Like, oh, I'm thinking about them, or oh, let me check in on them. It's like when you have enough time to go through those phases, it's just like, dang, I've been thinking about Alexis like all week this week. It's when those things start to add up in your mind, where subconsciously you're just like, dang, like I really want the best for her. And of course, that's not how we say it or think about it. It's
Mm-hmm.
more of just like, I like her. Dang, like I'm really messing with this girl. But
Yeah.
all in all, I feel like that's that time frame for you to your mind and your body to almost get attached in a way to the the general success and well-being of that person or thing. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about you?
I I would agree with you. I would agree with you. I don't think that there is any specific time frame. I
Right.
used to think that I wouldn't say that there was a set time. However, I usually go off of feelings. Just
Mm-hmm.
how do I feel and what do I think based off of those feelings. But I used to feel as though there is a period where it feels like it's too soon.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, which this may be silly, but growing up, I just used to always have this thought when it came to dating and so
Mm-hmm.
on and so forth that well, in my mind, I wouldn't date anybody officially until I've been knowing them or hanging out with them for more than 2 months. Or,
Mm.
yes, I wouldn't do it if I hadn't for, yes, more than 2 months. Because
Okay.
I don't know why 2 months, but
Right.
it just seemed like 2 months was a time frame where I should know enough about this person
Mm-hmm.
by 2 months.
Right.
Like, you have to think, like, someone's experiences, their entire life, there's so much to learn about someone within, like, I don't know, the entirety of y'all's relationship.
Mm-hmm.
They've lived however many lives or however many years, they've had
Mm-hmm.
so many different relationships, they've done so many things. How can you learn enough information, gather enough data about someone within less than that? Like, I
Right.
don't know. I feel like
Yeah.
that was what I had in my mind. So when it comes
It's
to the
crazy.
idea of loving someone or knowing that, yes, knowing that you love someone, which for me also means that there's a level of commitment that you're willing to make to said person. I feel like you have to know enough about them, have enough
Yeah.
data, because you very well may be like, oh, I love them. Then you find out something that isn't that favorable, that you don't
Yeah.
agree with, that doesn't align with your values, that isn't something that is something you'll want to pursue in your future. And what then? So
Mm-hmm.
the short answer is no. I don't think that there is a time frame that can define, like, okay, I like the way you put it, a threshold of, now, yes,
Yeah.
I'm in love at this point. But
Yeah.
yeah, I do think that it is more based on your feelings and your knowledge of said person, and partially if
Mhm.
you want to see a future with them,
Right. Yeah.
whether that be short term or long term. Just hopefully long term if you're
Right.
you love them. But
Exactly.
yeah,
No more relationships for the sake of relationships, guys.
right.
Nah, yeah, but it's so crazy to me that because the same exact like time frame you said is exactly the same time frame that I felt for my whole life. Like I remember vividly having a conversation with a girl in high school on the phone, and it was the question of just like how long do you feel like is a good talking phase before like
Yeah.
getting into a relationship? And I remember it so vividly because I was like, I've never thought about that, and literally my answer was 2 months. Like,
Yeah.
yes. And I will say again, no time frame on love and when that can really happen. But as far as that commitment of like, I'm going to date you and be
Yeah.
committed to you, it feels like 2 months just feels like at the bare minimum just enough time to really like get to know someone, see them in different like sceneries, like
Mhm.
kind of meet a friend or two, hear about what their daily life's like,
And that's consistent. That is spending time with that and talking to that person
right,
consistently.
right.
Because
Mm-hmm.
2 months, you have to think now. I think about time a little bit differently now that I'm older, because two
Mm-hmm.
months seems like the blink of
Yeah.
an eye now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like you said, the bare minimum.
Mm-hmm. It's funny because now that I think about it, 2 months is exactly a summer. So maybe for kids and
Maybe that's what it is.
right.
That's the only time we have free time.
Literally, maybe in our heads back then it was just like because back then we would go summer break, you would find someone, you meet
That's
someone,
so
start
funny.
talking, and then come back to school and it's like, oh yeah, Lex and Tim dating now. It's just like what
Right.
they dated like it's
That has to be what it is. Do I still like you by the end of summer? Yes or
exactly.
no?
We all have it ingrained in our
That's so
heads. The
funny.
perfect amount of time to feel someone out before you start dating is 2 months. That's ever since middle school and high school, we've ingrained in our head. All it takes is one summer. Forget 2 months. One summer
One summer.
is to figure out if you want to date someone.
Wow.
Boom. Feel like we should get a Nobel Peace Prize or something for solving this.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, that's so crazy to me. 2 months. Have you made any exceptions to that rule? Would you say? Well, I mean, it's not like you made it a rule, but have you made any exceptions?
I think so.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
who's that?
I think which I'm trying to think genuinely, when
How
we
many times? Go ahead.
when, not too many times, not many times at all. When we started dating,
Mm-hmm.
talking, the early phases of us getting to know each other, I don't remember how much time it was before we shared that we loved one another, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't think it was 2 months.
Yeah, it was not
No.
2 months.
Granted, we were spending a lot of time together,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of time together very
Mm-hmm.
early on, doing a lot of things, sharing a lot of things. And I remember going back to what we talked about previously, just having a lot of fear in expressing my love to you,
Yeah.
because it all of this ties in together. One, the idea of loving again,
Mm-hmm.
the idea of giving you that power, or putting my trust, my heart, my vulnerabilities out there with you. I feel like that was a big part of it. Then also just the time frame. In my mind, it
Mm-hmm.
was just like, no, it can't be. This is too
Mm-hmm.
soon. This is too soon for me to feel so strongly about someone. This is too soon for me to know that this person is my person. Like, I'm feeling all of these things, and my head and let me say, my heart was telling me, yes, this is real, this is true. But my head was just like, it can't be. It was throwing
Yeah.
little seeds of doubt out there. And
Yeah.
I remember it took for you to not convince me, but just to be raw with me. It
Mm-hmm.
felt like you could see through me, and you could see through my fears and see all of the hesitations that I was having. And like, you brought it to light.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you were just like, stop. Stop allowing those doubts to cloud your mind. Like,
Yeah.
be open, be vulnerable, be transparent. And I think that That was definitely less than 2 months. I
Yeah.
think.
I know it definitely was. It definitely was. Well, I'm so glad that we had that moment and that conversation because
Me
I remember
too.
that day like it was yesterday.
Me too.
But yes, that was a good day because I do feel like we got to open up and be raw with each other.
Hmm.
And I feel like honestly, that's how it is sometimes. Maybe that is what's needed to kind of take something to the next level when it comes to relationship wise. Because although I feel like there is no like perfect time to feel love, like, oh, I love this person now. Like, you that can happen as soon as within a week. It could happen in a year, but when you verbalize it, maybe there are better times than others to say that. And so maybe it was too soon to verbalize it, or maybe you weren't ready, or maybe you didn't have the words exactly set in your mind of what you were going to say. But that raw convo, I think, was a great catalyst for it.
Yeah.
So maybe for some people, even though you might feel something early on, that doesn't mean you have to speak on it right then in that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm a big advocate for taking the time to really like digest your feelings and your thoughts instead of just throwing them all out there. A lot of people move and operate in that way, and I think that usually does lead to getting hurt sometimes when it's like, oh, I like this person, I have a crush, and then you just go tell them immediately, and then you weren't even on their radar, and now your heart is broken all in one day. You went from I like this person to I'm gonna have the confidence to talk to them to I hate life like all in one day, rather than digesting it. Do I like them? Why do I like them? All these things. So time is always your friend in life. I think time is always going to be your friend when it comes to relationships, love, feelings. Time will always be helpful. And if there is a relationship that is meant to be something that you feel strongly, you should never feel like you have to rush it and it has to happen right now. Because if you're going to spend a lifetime with someone, or they're meant to be in your life, or even if they're meant to be your best friend or whatever it is, that will slowly happen over time. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
I agree with that.
yeah,
Especially when the time is right, it will happen.
exactly.
Allow love to lead the way.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. There's a song. It goes, "Shut the f up when you hear love's talking."
Yeah, if you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
That was definitely a theme song for us.
Absolutely,
Thanks, babe. Thanks for sharing that love with me.
of course.
Well, thanks for listening, you guys. This
Yes.
was another episode of Love Out Loud.
Love out loud. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time.
Peace.
Peace.